Salama family,
Salama.
welcome back to the channel. We pray everyone is doing well.
Yes.
How are you doing, Isha G?
I'm doing well. I'm thankful we had some downpours, y'all, recently. It's been so hot, even though in humid climates it feels hotter after the rain, but just
Yes.
that wind right before the rain, it felt so nice.
Yes.
So doing much better.
So what we want to do is bring y'all in on a little conversation myself and Isha G were having the other day. Just looking at things going on in the West and even here on the continent. And, she had mentioned to me, does it seem like we're having another Red Sea moment?
No, I said, I feel like we're at the Red Sea again. That's what I said. I feel like us, whom they call African Americans, we're at the Red Sea right now with everything that's going on.
So let me ask you this. Why do you think this could be another Red Sea moment?
Well, just like when the Israelites were in Egypt, Pharaoh was behind them, and then there's a sea in front of them, which they, couldn't go forward, but they couldn't go back at the same time. And so for the African Americans, it's the same thing seems to be happening right now. Like living in the U.S., you really cannot remain there with all the stuff that's going on. The time is coming where all the African Americans gonna have to get up out of there. Don't know when it's gonna happen, but we see the writing on the wall. Like it's coming real fast. And with all the things that's going on there, it's like they're being pushed out as far as us, our people. But then here on the continent, it's a lot of things preventing our people from actually transitioning here. So that's why I say it's like a Red Sea moment going on right now.
Gotcha. So that's what I want to do, Isha G. I want to run some articles by you. And don't worry, family, these articles, I'm going to put it in the description box below of this video. So I get my little handy dandy tablet here. She didn't know I was going to do this to her. So
to me?
To you.
Oh, okay.
So so a lot of you know, we came from Marietta, Georgia, here to Tanzania about 3 years ago now. Mm-hmm. When we left, they were hanging our people. And guess what? About 5-6 days ago, they just found another young brother hung from a tree there in Georgia again. 3 years from being there, and still hearing that our people still being hung. How do you feel about that?
It's ridiculous, and it just really lets us know there is no hope in the U.S. for us. There is never going to change there. Things will never, ever change in the U.S. From the time we were brought over there, we were hated, we're still hated, we're going to continue to be hated. As long as our people are there, they're going to be hated and treated this way. They're never going to look at us as anything other than a slave, not even fully human or whatever. It's never going to change. Yeah. So it's just crazy because how many years has it been and the stuff is still going on? I know it's some people that they feel like, this stuff is going to pass, it's going to get better, it's just going to be a new way of life.
But the Bible says sin don't get better.
No, like this is not going to ever get better in the U.S.
Yeah. Look, so I'm originally from South Carolina, all right? Low country. Growing up, there was Ku Klux Klan stores in South Carolina. They had, you walk past the window and you would see figurines of black people hanging from trees, salt and pepper shakers, with the pepper shaker being a little Negro boy, and so to see in this day, in this time, as they always like to say, who's that, DeSantis out of Florida, that United States is not racist. It's all over the U.S. They let you know plain as day, they don't want you there anymore. You're no longer a use to them. Hey, and that's gonna move me right into my next thing. They're moving in our replacement, y'all. Well, we ain't there no more, but they moving in the replacements. they're allowing all these illegal immigrants who have a legal border that they can come through, but they're not using those, to come in. And y'all know we still, as the old people used to say, we still waiting on our 40 acres and a mule, but they getting $9,000 in gift certificates, they getting free phones, they getting housing. We got people still on waiting lists to get housing that look like us, but illegal immigrants come in, it's all going right to them.
Everything. So, as he mentioned in Florida, I know a lot of y'all have seen the articles. It's everywhere, really, but they're just literally trying to erase us. And it's really the fact that I don't know what kind of these people, like, something's not wrong with them. They're not like us at all. And I mean in every way. These people are not like us, because the way that the Most High created this to work up here, it don't work like that for them.
No.
Because I guess for some reason they feel like if they could just erase our history, it'll just like never have happened. And it's like, are you kidding me? They don't want our children to learn anything about what happened to our ancestors anymore, how they were brought, anything about the African history.
Yeah, they don't want our children to know how our ancestors the women were hung in a tree and they would cut the babies out and throw them into the water so they could get some new boots or a new wallet with gator skin. How they would strap our men to a table and quarter him, as they would call it, and buck break him in front of all the other people on the plantation, just to, make an example.
And
let me just say this. And even in South Carolina, they had, in other places also, but I'm from South Carolina, so I can talk about it. They had white only, black only, bathrooms and water fountains. And when you look it up, you see these things not too long ago, probably within the last 30 years, some of these things got taken down. Mm-hmm. And so, this is a Red Sea moment, because we're at that point where it's like, what do we do? What's going to happen?
Right. So, critical race theory is something, from what I hear, pretty much most of the states in the U.S., they've either signed or getting ready to sign that, they're no longer going to teach it.
What was it, like 30 something states?
I think it was 44.
44 states had already signed.
No, 44 on the list that had either signed or getting ready to sign it. So I'm like, it's just like, but it's the Most High at the same time, because he's letting our people know by them trying to erase us, yes, you're not about to exist there anymore. You're getting ready to move on.
Right.
We just don't know how. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you look at it, you got, what else? Let's see what else we got here. These things going on in the U.S. that blow my mind. When was the last time you heard about a measles outbreak?
We ain't have measles when I was growing up. We heard about, like,
people had it at
our
one time.
Grandparents, maybe our mom and dad. I don't even remember my mom and dad saying they had it, but I heard that they had outbreaks in different places in the U.S. I'm like, where did measles come from? These diseases, that's like so long ago. I thought they were supposed to have gave vaccines, but people don't get that no more.
Right, you have places, the bubonic plague popping up.
Right, I read it. I'm like, how did that get in the U.S.?
Listen, there's so many signs, y'all. So many signs. What else just doesn't make sense? Listen, most of us have seen a solar eclipse. I didn't have to talk about this. We all know on April 8th is going to be another solar eclipse. It's going to make a complete X somewhere over the Midwest, just like the first time it went over back was at 2017?
I don't know, 16 or 17.
2016 or 2017. But I remember being in school when these things would happen. They never closed school, but we hear about places that are closing schools, also places that are declaring states of emergency before April, just so they can prepare, because they say there's going to be an influx of people coming into the. I don't understand. What is so special? What do they know that they're not saying?
And it's not just that. They're making an uproar about it, and I get it. It could be to try and throw, our focus off of something else that's going on, like they do so often. But at the same time, I think these things are signs from the Most High for us to pay attention to at the same time, because when they're making an uproar about these things like a solar eclipse and stuff like that, there are signs that are in the sky that we're supposed to look at and pay attention to. So I believe at the same time, we should be paying attention to the uproar. We don't have to be afraid, but it's just like they see the signs. A lot of them see the writing on the wall as well. So
Yeah. So like we said, you got all that going on in the U.S. Now we're going to talk about some stuff going on here on the continent. Last year, November sometime, I saw an article where Bill Snakes was in Kenya, and he was urging the president there to microchip babies. Anything that man is tied to is nothing good. And then we saw a video recently down in South Africa, this school parading the boys around in dresses. I don't know what. Look, the whole world is getting turned upside down, but that's scripture, and so I just want to say, you have something?
Well, also to add to that, that's something with South Africa. Like, we heard about this a while ago, how South Africa was, but I had never seen
until that video
the video,
right?
Because there's a young lady that we know, we're very close to her, and she was telling us how South Africa was, and I was like, what? Yeah. They do what? Yeah. And so, I know a lot of people like to go to South Africa, but
now it's not all of South Africa.
It's not.
There's certain areas.
It's ridiculous how the West has influenced so many of these, well, all of these, every country around the world.
Right.
But our people, you just wouldn't think that they would fall for just any old thing. But I don't know. I think our people just too nice. That's just it. It's how the Most High made us, and I think because of how nice we are, we fall for a lot of foolishness.
Some people might disagree with you. They might be like, we a little too rough sometimes.
We rough. We could be rough, but we like the nicest people in the world when it really come down to it. Yeah. Like, our people really don't want no problems like that. Yeah. And for our people that do get into things and stuff like that,
they got pushed to it.
They got pushed, and it's a lot of stuff that our people have gone through with that got those people to where they are. But our people are very genuinely nice people.
Right.
We don't like no problems. We just want to live in peace.
That's it.
But also one of the things, why we say even here on the continent things is going on, because a lot of these African nations, they just make it heck of hard to actually make it on the continent. They make it very, very hard for us as African Americans to actually make it on the continent. While you got the U.S. opening the U.S. up to immigrants, which I agree with
illegal
immigrants, and I agree
so
with
it can be politically correct.
Somebody's comment said, like, some of them, that's their ancestors' land, so they just going back home. But it's like you got this going on the continent where, think about it, y'all. They say it's 41 million of us. But I know it's a lot more, because I was watching a clip with Muhammad Ali when he was younger, and he was saying then that they were saying it was 41 million of us. That man dead and gone, and he was young when he was saying it.
Right.
So it's a lot of us in the U.S. And so right now, just me being here on the continent, I'm looking around and I'm looking at other countries, and I'm talking to people I know in different countries and stuff, and we're hearing these same stories. It's very hard for us here. You can make it, but you definitely got to have a lot of patience.
And money.
You have to have a lot of money, because a lot of the countries require you to have hundreds of thousands of dollars to start businesses there.
But you got to show them.
That you have to show that you have in your bank account.
Right.
So, it's just hard for the African Americans. The average African American does not have 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 USD just sitting around in the bank. If we did, we'd be living way better than we live in the US. But for some reason, they think that we're rich. But those rules really, I understand that they want the country to make money, and I get it that they put rules in place because they want to detour people, but it's kind of like you're not really detouring the ones who you're trying to detour. Am I saying that word right?
Yeah.
Okay. But it just sounds weird in my head. Yeah. But these people that's trying to take over your countries and stealing your resources, they have that money. Yet there are no programs that the African nations are putting in place for the African American. Most of them don't even recognize us as diaspora in their law. The diaspora to them are ones who are born here, who left,
went to another country,
and
they want them to come back.
Right. They consider that as diaspora. But I'm not saying all, but most of the countries don't have anything set in place for the African American. Now, yes, there are people on the ground who are trying to get these things set up, but it is very difficult because for some, you know how it is, that colonized mindset is still deep here on the continent. And so it's so easy for somebody who got pale skin compared to us who are called African Americans, and it just don't register to them, how are you African? And, it's hard for us. And so that's why, I'm sorry, was there something else you wanted to say?
No, I'm good with that. Go ahead.
That's why I said that I feel like we're at the Red Sea. Again, it's not a physical one that you can touch the water and stuff like that. But you can't live in the U.S. They're bringing all these illegal immigrants in and giving them resources and everything that they have never wanted to give to people who look like us. Mm-hmm. Our people are still struggling, still living, not even paycheck to paycheck anymore. You got to live with people to survive. Our people don't get good health care, all kind of stuff like that. You're living in a place where ain't no food real over there no more. The vegetables ain't even real. The fruit is not real. You could say you're eating healthy, organic, all you want. Ain't nothing real over there anymore. So you have that going on. They're trying to get to where you're being pushed out of the U.S., yet you're not like a Hispanic person who can go back to their country.
And we are, look, African Americans are the only people who have nowhere to go.
The place where we come from is Africa. Yet the Red Sea for us is the leaders here in Africa, the continent, who refuse to open the continent up to us and put things in place, programs and things in place that will allow for us to actually come and live here and make a life here. So that's why I said we are at the Red Sea again. You can't stay, but
you can't go.
40, 50, 60 million people, Africa, they're not ready, number one, for that many people. More than enough space now.
More than enough space.
They're not ready for that many people. And as of right now, they ain't trying to put that in place to get ready.
Right. And I want to say this. Like my wife said, the leaders of these African countries, the people want us here. Mm-hmm. A lot of people at first, they don't get it, that we look like them, but we sound like the Americans because y'all know we speak English. So, but they say you look like us, but you sound like them. So then once we explain it, the people, they get it. But the governments, they don't get it.
I say some of the people.
A good majority of the people get it. Some of the people don't get it, but the government, they don't look at it as, let's allow these skill sets that are trying to leave the U.S. and come to our countries and be a benefit here where we can benefit each other. We can learn from them, they can learn from us, and we can work together to put Africa on top. They don't see it that way.
No.
You know, we've said in other videos, we've talked to people who have heard that the U.S. Embassy is sending messages to these different African countries saying, don't let the African Americans come over there. They're going to cause trouble. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And then they will send the house Negro over here and have them actually do those things. So then in the mind of the people, hey, the U.S. told us they was going to do this. And then the house Negro came over here and he did that, you know. So I just want to say this, you know, we ain't going to be on here long today. I just want to tell y'all, trust the Most High. You know, like the word says, don't just be hearers of the word, but be doers of the word. You know what I'm saying? Let your life reflect the Most High Yah. And don't worry about them pushing you out. Don't worry about that Reed Sea in front of you. Listen, just the same way the Most High opened it up and you walked across on dry ground, he's going to do it again when the time is right. Now look, it's going to get a little nerve-wracking. It's going to get a little scary. It's going to get your nerves going. It's going to piss you off. But trust him, and he is going to open up the doors. You got anything else, love?
Yeah, no, I do get agitated with the stuff that, is going on. I have to pray for my heart a lot of times because I know it's people who come in that don't look like us. But I don't have to be honest. I have to pray for my heart a lot of times because I don't want my heart to be in the wrong place. I want my mind to be in the wrong place when they come. Because right now, I ain't gonna even lie, y'all. When I see certain things,
let's get ready to rumble!
It just makes me upset. Like, why are you here?
Right. You know, but they told us there was nothing over here, but y'all, every time we turn around, y'all popping up on a bus with a tour guide.
Right.
You know,
you got like they sitting in the bus 30 deep. I'm like, where are y'all jokers coming from? Like,
yeah.
But yeah, we can't. I know we can't be moved by it, and we know that the Most High is going to do something. He has to, because like I said, we at the Red Sea. Like there's nowhere for us to go right now. So he has to step in. You can't stay in the U.S. Things are not properly being orchestrated here on the continent. And so it's like if he doesn't step in, the only other option is to die.
Right. So, you
can't go nowhere else. Other countries ain't going to accept you either.
Right. So if the Most High don't step in, we as the people are in trouble. And we realize just because we're on the continent, we're not safe. We're not safe because we know who we are. They want to take us all out. If you know who you are, they want to take you out. They want you to be ignorant. They want you to be dumb to who you are. They want you to have a syndrome where white is right, And so they don't want you to know that black is beautiful. They don't want you to know that you are loved by the Most High Yahuwah. They don't want you to know that you are precious to him, that your name is engraved in the palm of his hand. They don't want you to know these things. So they want you to be cloned like Tyrone. You know what I'm saying? So family, look, y'all be safe out there.
Please be safe. I just want to say this last thing before we close out. Pesach is coming up. And y'all, like I know a lot of times we have said before when Pesach and everything was coming, like we all need to get together, we all need to pray and everything. I'm not saying we got to all get together and pray together. For the most part, I don't think that our whole nation is going to cry out to the Most High at any given time. I think those who belong to him and who have always belonged to him are crying out.
Right.
But because we know that the first time when the Most High brought us out of Egypt, it happened around one of our feast days. So it's just something that we all should be doing, knowing that Pesach is coming up, to really be crying out,
right,
to the Most High for his deliverance of our nation.
For him to turn back to us, for us to turn back to him first and cry out in a loud lamentation for him.
Remind him of his word, like David did. Remind him of his word, like you promised. Remember the covenant you made.
Right.
You know, with Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, remember that your kingdom has to come through the line of David.
Right.
So we need you to do something.
Yes. So family, we love y'all. Man, listen, do me a favor. Like, comment, and share this video. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. If you guys would like to support what we're doing over here, supporting us over here, you can do a Cash App. I'll put that on the screen here once we're done. Also, please check out our website, zionurbandevelopment.org, and you can do a donation there. It is tax deductible. It goes to a great cause. We're doing some great things here on the continent. Got some great things coming forth for you guys. So you guys stay tuned. We're gonna have some great news soon for you. All right. You got anything else, love?
I don't have anything else.
All right. Shalom, family.
Shalom.